There's a version of you that you think about when no one's watching, a version that wakes up before the alarm, that keeps the promise he made to himself last Sunday night. That does the hard thing first. That doesn't negotiate with excuses. You know him, you've always known him, and somewhere underneath all the noise, the scrolling, the distraction, the comfortable routines, you feel the gap between who you are and who he is. That gap has a name. It's not laziness, it's not lack of talent. It's a decision you keep not making. Today, that changes. Because it is time. It is time to be that guy. Let me tell you what's actually happening. Every morning you hit snooze, you're not just losing 30 minutes, you're telling yourself something about yourself. Every time you open your phone before you open your mind, you're not just wasting time. You're training yourself to be reactive, not driven. Every time you say, I'll start Monday, you're not delaying a plan. You're building an identity, and that identity, the one built brick by every small surrender, is who you will become unless you decide to stop. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say. Most people don't fail because life was too hard. Most people fail because they were too comfortable. Comfortable enough to not be hungry. Comfortable enough to not push. Comfortable enough to scroll instead of build. Comfortable enough to sleep when they should be rising. Comfort is not peace. Comfort is slow motion surrender. And somewhere inside you, the real you, knows this. I'm not talking to the version of you that's nodding along and planning to think about this tomorrow. I'm talking to the version that's tired of watching himself fall short. That version is awake right now. That version brought you here. So let's talk about what's really going on. Here's what nobody tells you about becoming the man you're capable of being. It doesn't happen in one big moment. We've been sold a lie. The movie version of transformation, the montage, the music, the single decision that changes everything, that's not how it works. Here's how it actually works. Every morning you win the first battle against the pillow, you get a little more of him. Every time you choose the harder, better option, you get a little more of him. Every time you honor a commitment you made to yourself when nobody was watching, nobody would know, and it would have been so easy to skip, you get a little more of him. That guy isn't built in a gym. He isn't built in a boardroom. He isn't built in a single defining moment. He's built in the silent ones, the 5 a.m. ones, the nobody will notice if I don't ones, the I'm tired but I said I would ones. This is the thing high performers understand, that average people never figure out. Discipline is not about what you do when you're motivated. Discipline is about what you do when you're not. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go. Character is what you do when the feeling has gone. All that's left is the decision. That guy, he decided, and he keeps deciding every single day. So how do you become him? Not motivation, not a plan, not a vision board. You become him by acting like him before you feel like him. This is the principle most people get backwards. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for the right moment. But that guy doesn't wait for a feeling. He creates one. Through action, the research is clear. Identity follows behavior, not the other way around. You don't believe your way into new habits. You act your way into new beliefs. So here's the framework. 3 things. Write them down. 1, own the morning. The first hour of your day is a declaration. What you choose to do with it tells your nervous system, your subconscious, your entire being, who is in charge today. That guy is in charge of his morning. He doesn't check his phone first. He doesn't scroll. He moves. He thinks he prepares. He wins the first battle before the world knows the war started. If you change nothing else, change the morning. 2, do one hard thing every single day. Not 10, not a complete life overhaul. One thing that's harder than what you want to do. 1 conversation you've been avoiding, 1 extra set. 1 hour of focused work. 1 meal you chose instead of caved to. 1 hard thing. Because every hard thing you do sends a signal to the deepest part of your brain. I am someone who does hard things. And over time, that signal becomes your character. 3, keep the promises you make to yourself. This is the big one. Most people keep their promises to everyone else and break every promise they make to themselves. And then they wonder why they have no self-confidence. Self-confidence is not a mindset. It's not an affirmation. Self-confidence is the accumulated evidence of promises kept. You said you get up early. Did you get up early? You said you make the call. Did you make the call? You said you train. Did you train? Every time you follow through, you build the man. Every time you don't, you chip away at him. That guy keeps his word to himself because he knows that everything else, every relationship, every achievement, every piece of respect you want from the world begins with the respect you have for yourself. And that respect is non-negotiable. I want you to stop for a second. Be honest with yourself right now. Think about the last 30 days. Think about the goals you had, the commitments you made, the person you said you were going to be. How many days did you show up for that person? How many days did you choose the easy thing when you knew the right thing was harder? How many mornings did you negotiate with yourself and let yourself lose? I'm not asking to make you feel bad. I'm asking because that gap is information. It's telling you something. It's telling you that the version of you capable of everything you say you want is being held back not by the world, not by circumstance, not by timing, but by you. And that is the most terrifying truth, because it means no one is coming to save you, no mentor, no perfect moment, no ideal circumstance. It has to be you. It has always been you. But here's where I need you to really hear me. That's not a burden. That's the greatest gift you've ever been given. Because if no one else can stop you, then nothing can stop you. You are the only variable. Every great man who ever built something, every father who became the kind of father he swore he would be, every athlete who became elite when everyone said he wouldn't, every person who walked out of mediocrity into a life they were proud of, they all faced this same moment, the moment where the gap became unbearable, where the distance between who they were and who they knew they could be became too wide to ignore. And they made a decision, not a plan, not a checklist, a decision that said not one more day, not one more morning hitting snooze, not one more excuse, not one more version of myself I'm ashamed of. Starting now, starting today, starting with the very next choice I make. Because here's what I know about you. You didn't end up watching this video by accident. Something in you is hungry. Something in you is tired of the gap. Something in you, the real you, the deep you, is already that guy. He's been waiting. He's been patient. But your potential has an expiration date. The window doesn't stay open forever. Time is passing regardless. The question is not whether you're moving. The question is which direction. So I'm going to ask you something and I want you to let it land. If you became that guy, if you closed the gap completely, what would your life look like? Not in theory, not in a fantasy, for real. What would change? What relationships would be different? What would you build? What would you be proud of? Can you see it? Good. That's not a dream. That's a destination. And the only distance between where you are and where that man lives is the sum of your daily decisions. That's it, nothing else. No talent gap, no luck gap, no connection gap, a decision gap. And you can close that gap, starting with the decision you make right now. Here's what I want you to carry from today. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too old, too late, or too far gone. You are exactly one decision away from everything changing. That decision is not dramatic. It doesn't come with a soundtrack. Nobody will clap. It looks like getting up when you said you would. It looks like doing the thing when you don't feel like it. It looks like choosing who you are over who you've been comfortable being. It looks like being that guy. Starting today, not tomorrow, today. You know what to do. You've always known, now go be him.